There's actually quite a lot of Ace Attorney around the internet, or gaming just in general. And, well, I already know how all the cases go because I've watched Let's Players go through it. So, let's try something new. I'm Ekamac. This is Let's Try Nina Aquila Legal Eagle Season 1. Don't know if this will be a series because, if you haven't watched some of my other videos, you might not be aware, but I get very anxious about things where you have to make a logical choice because I don't like looking foolish. This game supports several control schemes. These are the default controls. Well, I don't have a touch screen, so no need to worry about that. You can change them later with options. Game controller or keyboard. Okay. So basically, someone took the old RPG Maker system and turned it into an Ace Attorney game. Tavistock, Tomsey, Twiley. Hey Nina. I'm heading out. Did you review the case file? It's under Tidful, right? I couldn't find it on the shelf. It's on the glass table by the sofas. Make sure you check it out. See you at the courthouse tomorrow. Don't stay too late. We've got a big day tomorrow. It's amazing how people were able to turn RPG Maker into just about any sort of genre they want, to be honest. Like, this is supposed to be your basic JRPGs, but it runs on a very nice coding system called Ruby, and people can easily reverse engineer it into just about whatever they want. Meryl Tidfill. Guess what? We're gonna stay too late. Goody, I got an achievement for this. The first step. Hello? Nina! Where are you? I'm... Miller Defense and Law Officers. November 5th, 9:12 a.m. Why aren't you at the courthouse? Have you forgotten what day it is? Just give me a sec, will you? Wasn't there a desk here a moment ago? I'm still at the office? Last thing I remember, I was reviewing the case file. I fell asleep? Never mind that. Get down here now. I've got my hands full with the defendant. I can't mother you as well. All the times to fall asleep. I better get to the courthouse. Oh yeah, anyone with a good artistic sense can probably put together something pretty cool. Not even enough time to take a shower. Tanuki Sama Studios presents Nina Aquila Legal Eagle. It's not that I dislike Ace Attorney games or anything, it's that I get very anxious about getting answers wrong. There was that one episode of Trails in the Sky where they actually give you a logical choice, and it put me into a bit of an anxiety meltdown there, and I got it wrong. It didn't enjoy it, so maybe it's just showing this off a little bit. Maybe it'll become a Let's Play. I somehow doubt it, but you can see that people are really missing their Ace Attorney games with how long it's been since we've had a new one. Granted, we just got a release of the Great Attorney, translated from Japanese after all these years, but still, it's not new Ace Attorney, it's just Ace Attorney they never let us had. Defendant Lobby C. Okay, it looks like not everyone gets custom designs. Your supervisor was here. She seemed really mad. Nina? She kinda scares me. But this music is definitely Ace Attorney style. And yet I got here as quickly as I could. You were supposed to be here an hour ago. I had to arrange transportation for the defendant and... Did you come via the gym or something? I ran here! Straight after you woke me up in the office. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. Nina's a real pro under pressure. She's probably crossing her fingers behind her back. Aren't you? Of course, everything's going to be fine. In any case, we best get to the courtroom. Meryl, the bailiff will come to collect you shortly. Just hang on for a couple more minutes. Nina, one last thing. Gain the attorney ID card. We have to show it to everyone. It's the law. You've earned this. Finally, my own defense attorney ID. You nervous? A little, I guess? I'll be there to help you out. This maybe wasn't the best place to start your last supervised trial, but just remember, you're one of the brightest young lawyers I've ever supervised. Really? What? I can say nice things. Just walk in, sit at your branch, and stay focused on your client's innocence. Get going, I'll join you at the bench. District Courthouse, Courtroom B. We're not good enough for Courtroom A. Just like Anya said, all I've got to do is head to my bench. It should be past the gallery, then on the left. We're not allowed to talk to people, though. Pretty good level design, all said and told. There's definitely a bit of a perspective issue there, but not the worst. Who's the new guy? Prosecutor? That's Chad Hawke. They say he's a real prodigy. We've never heard this before. A stickler for procedure. Don't get nervous. All rise for the Honourable Judge Tawney. Well, we don't have any sitting down sprites, so I guess we already rose. Please be seated. We are here today in observance of the case of Meryl Tidfill. Prosecutor Hawke, are you prepared for the case? As always, Your Honour. As always, Your Honour. Miss Aquila? Not even less for a minute. Miss Aquila! Yes, Your Honour? What did I tell you about staying focused? Now that I have your attention, I trust you have crafted a reasonable attempt at the defense. It makes you sound like we're going to crash and burn immediately. I'm ready if that's what you mean. Very well. Mr. Hawke, please state the prosecution's case. Of course, Your Honour. Emergency servers were called to the Green Acre camping grounds in the early hours of November 1st. Fire broke out in the facility's main buildings, which spread to some of the smaller buildings. Meryl Tidfill was arrested leaving the scene. The prosecution asserts that she started the fire to facilitate insurance fraud. We intend to establish her motive through witness testimony. He seems pretty confident. He talks a good fight. Let's find out if he's got the chops. Thank you, Mr. Hawke. Bailiff, bring in the defendant. Defendant, can you confirm your name and occupation? Why is she wearing that costume? Damned if I know. If certain someone had gotten here earlier, they might have been able to fix that. Subtle. Miss Tedfield. Meryl Speak up! Meryl Tedfield, Your Honour! So you do have a voice. Well, at least you got her name right. I perform secretarial work at the camping ground and assist with event planning. Which is why you were there on the evening in question? Ordinarily, yes, but that night I was actually there for a party. Also, I was on a date. What was that? I was on a date! I see. My report says you were arrested after the building caught fire, hours after the party ended. Why were you still on site at the time? I had to close up the site. But when I spotted the fire, I ran to get help. And that's when you were arrested? Yes, Your Honour. Very well. Meryl Tidfield, you stand accused of arson. How do you plead? Not guilty! Miss Tidfield, the court recognises your plea. Prosecution, bring forth your first witness. Here you go. Huh? I know you've done this before, but as this is your last supervised trial, I'll fill you in on one last time how this all works. It's the first case. We have to give you a tutorial. Hawk's about to bring out a witness who gives a statement. Listen to it. Try to focus on the little details. You're looking for an inconsistency, a flaw of some kind, which shows the witness is either lying or just mistaken. Don't worry about memorizing the statement, though. You'll be able to recap it afterward. Look for inconsistencies. Got it. Witness, please confirm your name and occupation. Jackie Marsden, Your Honour. I work as a graphic designer for Rookery. Rookery, the corporation. Sounds chess-related. Yes, ma'am. Please tell us how you came to be involved in this incident. Okay. Witness statement. I saw Meryl leaving the campgrounds after the party while the building was on fire. If I'm honest, Meryl's always been a bit of an oddball. As far as I could see, no one else was there. She must have started the fire. Why else would she be running around late at night dressed as a fire mage? Very well, Miss Aquila, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, Nina, let's get this show on the road. Cross-examination. Get on to the main event. Cross-examination. Do you want me to remind you how this works? Or are you good to go? I mean, I've never played an Ace Attorney in JRPG Maker before, so I could do with a help. How do we cross-examine again? I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Cross-examination is where we do our stuff. In a moment, you'll be able to review the witness's statement from before. It's split up into segments to be easier to work with. For each part of this statement, you can do several things. You can continue to move on to the next segment or go back to the previous segment. If you continue after the last segment, you just go back to the start, so don't worry about that. You can press the witness for a bit more information about the segment. You should probably start by doing this for every segment. Oh yes, press everything. You get an open menu to save the state of the game so you can resume from there later. We call this save scumming. You should try to save frequently. Save the state of the... Moving on. I think you brushed over something quite important. They're moving on! You can also review and present evidence, but we don't have any evidence right now. We'll come back to that later. Are you good to go, or do you want me to explain that again? I'm pretty sure she'll bite my head off if I ask for another explanation. I want to hear what you had. Not this. I thought you was arrested in the morning, on November 1st. Well, it was early hours, around 3 a.m. Is this important, Miss Aquila? No, it's probably not. Let's move on. I wanted to talk about the fire mage thing. Something isn't right about this. I think we're overlooking something obvious. Make sure you press every segment of her testimony. Oh, well, okay then, I'll just read it all then. I wanted to hear why you knew that she was dressed as a fire mage. Are you sure it was her? It was dark after all. There was a building on fire nearby. There was more than enough light. I mean, have you seen large campfires? They are actually kind of difficult to see, but I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong. It's been maybe 2 decades since that bonfire. Yes, I'm quite certain. Also, if I'm honest, Meryl's always been a bit of an oddball. An oddball? Yeah, she's a bit weird. Bit of a stretch to say she'd burn down a building. She just means she's a bit of a nonconformist, Aquila. Like I said, a bit weird. As far as I could see, no one else was there. How could you be certain? The campgrounds only have one exit and I was there. Anyone else would have to pass me. She must have started the fire. That's pure conjecture. It's her opinion. The court recognizes this is purely the witness's opinion. But there's one more thing. Okay, this one was something that we could actually say is important. I believe it's important. Witness, can you add this to your statement? I saw Officer Flatfoot who arrested her at around 3 a.m. Wait, we also have eye patch in evidence? An eye patch I wear over my right eye. This individual depicted on this card is licensed to engage in legal activities within the Fledge City District and afforded the protections of a city district attorney. You don't have much of a photogenic face there. You don't like Meryl very much, do you? The witness's likes and dislikes are not on trial here. Sustained. Miss Aquila, please try to stay on topic. Your Honor, please humour me for a moment. Jackie, you have made it very clear you find Meryl's costume to be strange. It is strange. Really? I don't think it's strange at all. Miss Aquila, I warn you not to waste the court's time. Is this important? It's of vital importance, Your Honor. The defense asserts that Meryl's unusual outfit might seem strange at first glance, except on one night of the year where this would be considered normal. Halloween! The witness was arrested on November 1st. She was arrested at 3 a.m. after attending a Halloween party. I guess that would be a thing, wouldn't it? I didn't even think about it. Your Honour, I assert that Meryl's attire was wholly appropriate on the night she was arrested. I see. Well, okay, your logic is sound, Miss Aquila. The witness's testimony seems to be fixated on Meryl's costume. Defense moves to this testimony be considered unreliable. But she did start the fire. She's a freak, a pyromaniac. She really seems to hate Meryl for some reason. I should make a note of that. Jackie hates Meryl. Witness! You will cease your outbursts immediately. Mr. Hawke, do you have anything to add at this time? No. The prosecution moves to call its next witness. Very well, bring in your second witness. Prosecution calls Detective Randall Flatfoot to the stand. Hello again, Randy. How's your wife and little Ryan? This is very professional for a court of law. Both fine, Your Honor. Ryan is teething. What, oh, poor thing. Truth, I haven't had much sleep for a few weeks. What's happening? Your Honor, if I may? Oh, yes, of course. How did you become involved in this, Detective? Still more appropriate... Still more professional than the Californian judge, let's be fair. It was something of a coincidence. I actually live very near Greenacre Camping Ground, so I saw the light from the fire from a distance. I ran to see what was going on, and in the process I ran into Jackie Marsden and the defendant mid-confrontation. When I walked up, Jackie was accusing Merrill of setting fire to something. Sure enough, Merrill was carrying some fire-lighting equipment. That sounds important. I should make a note of that. I arrested her on the spot. And how, may I ask, was the victim's demeanor when you did that? Whoa, hang on there. Your Honor, I find it in poor taste to microanalyze the client's conduct while she was being arrested. I agree, Your Honor. You do? He does? The prosecution has not charged the witness with resisting arrest. It would be inappropriate of us to consider her actions during the arrest as evidence. Quite right. This exchange shall be stricken from the records. Carry on, Detective Flatfoot. Yes, Your Honor. For convenience, I was placed in charge of the police investigation into the fire. What did you find? That everything burned down. I can confirm that Merrill Tidfield is indeed an employee of Greenacre Camping Grounds. She worked with them for a number of years and is considered an exceptional employee. And an item, employee record, Merrill. Received her IID. We also looked at the webpage for the campsite, and Merrill is visible in 2 photographs on the site. This one from last year, and this one from the party from the evening in question. I want to look at those already. I'm suspicious. If you want to view those pictures again, you can do so later when we cross-examine. But I want to look at them now! His attorney lets us look at things whenever we want. Already I see an important difference between them. Also, we found something else. I can already guess what he's going to say here. Greenacre Camping Grounds was circling bankruptcy. Being clear, this is speculation, but an intentional fire to defraud an insurer would be one way out of that situation. But wouldn't you also need to pay to rebuild the place, and then you just end up back where you started? Maybe a little richer, maybe a little poorer? We have no conclusive proof of that at the present. Don't forget the last part, Detective. Oh, right. A detailed forensic analysis will take a few weeks. But we can already be sure that the fire was deliberate. Not a gas leak, electrical fault, or lightning strike. Thank you, Detective. Very succinct. I don't know how to say it. Are you prepared to make a formal statement? Ready and willing, Your Honor. Wait, this is the statement? I came over to the site after seeing the signs of a fire from a distance. When I arrived, Jackie and Merrill were arguing. Main building and some of the smaller buildings were already ablaze. Merrill was carrying some campground stuff, including firelighting equipment. I can't think of a reason why she'd have it other than to start a fire. Very well, Miss Aquila, you may begin your cross-examination. Must be another reason why she'd have that equipment. Like her job. Well done with the last witness. Pressing them for more information did the trick. This time, though, I think we're going to need to present some evidence. Do you want me to remind you how to present evidence, or are you good to go? Honestly, I'm sure it'll be funny if I say yes. I'd appreciate a few pointers. Evidence is a defense attorney's ultimate weapon. Thankfully, you don't have to go nearly as much trouble as you do in Final Fantasy X for it. Sometimes the inconsistency in a witness statement that can't be found just by pressing them for more information. When this happens, you need to review your evidence and see if any of it disproves a segment of the statement. For example, a witness could say they don't know the defendant, but if you had a photo of them together, you could present that as an inconsistency. How to remember all the details of pieces of evidence? You don't have to just remember. During a cross-examination, you open menu and select evidence to see the details of all the evidence you have. From that menu, you can review pictures and read more info, which might help you find the clues you need. You should check it for every new piece of evidence you receive. I think I get it! I pick through the segments of witness statement and look for any evidence that disproves what the witness is saying. If I find any, I present the evidence, right? That's right, one more thing. Oh. What the? Oh, you see them too? That's a relief. The weird floating faces? The weird floating faces. Yeah, I see them. Presenting evidence takes up the court's time. Presenting the right evidence is fine. If you present the wrong evidence, do it too many times. If you run out of chances, the judge will make an on-the-spot judgment and find your client guilty. Think very carefully before you present a piece of evidence. Are you good to go? Do you want me to explain that again? Yeah. I'd rather look at my evidence before this. Let's be fair, this is something that would be nice to have in Ace Attorney, where during the cross-examination you can open it up and not risk accidentally pressing the present button. Meryl works for Green Acre Camping Grounds and has keys to the site's equipment stash. Meryl was carrying this. It's used to light fires. I'm not sure why, but Jackie seems to hate Meryl. Last year, Meryl is lighting a campfire. Jackie is coupled with Travis. This year, Meryl is coupled with Travis. It's rather simple, really, but... Ooh. I wonder if they'll just let me press everything anyway. She doesn't look very confident yet. Perhaps she found it just before she met you? It was specialized firelighting equipment, Aquila. No one would just leave it lying around. You've got an answer for everything, don't you, Chad? Still, he's right, I guess. Must be another reason why she was carrying that equipment. Check your evidence. See if we can find something that gives her a reason. Let's give it a shot. Not this one. Objected! Achievement unlocked. Detective, do you carry a firearm? Yes, I do. The department standard to issue 225er. Do you consider that a dangerous object? Your Honour, the witness has a legal right to carry a firearm and is compelled to do so by his profession. Thank you, Mr. Hawke. What? What's your point, Aquila? In some situations, a person carrying a firearm would be considered dangerous. However, we trust the detective here because he is in a profession where he makes use of firearms. Skip to the end, Miss Aquila. It's not like this is me wasting time. Gladly, Your Honor. My client is a long-serving employee of the camping ground, a place that traditionally permits campfires. In fact, you can see her tending to a fire in this very photograph. The defense attorney's right. It looks like her in the photo. Of course she'd light fires. Did she leave the... Order in the court! Miss Hawke, can you offer an explanation for... Mr. Hawke. Mr. Hawke, can you offer an explanation for this inconsistency? No, Your Honor. Your Honor, as the detective's testimony was based around it being strange for Merrill to be carrying that equipment, defense moves that this testimony be considered superfluous to this case. I'm obliged to agree, Miss Aquila. See no alternative but I'll ask you to relinquish the stand. Brandy. Always a pleasure, Judge Tawney. Am I imagining things or flatfooting the judge? No, you're not imagining things. Apparently he was a bit of a heartbreaker in his day. What's that? Nothing important? I trust you have another witness, Mr. Hawke. I do. Let's keep this moving. Bring in your third witness. Probably in the next... Not the next episode, but I feel like this gives us a pretty good example of what to expect. It's not quite as fancy as Ace Attorney with its specialized game system for it, but still, it's an interesting enough time. I haven't made a complete fool of myself yet. So, until next time, guys, take care. I'll see you all around.